Welcome to the Echoes of Alchemy podcast. My name is Jay Robinson, and I'm coming to you from Lotus Sound Studio in beautiful downtown Collingwood, Ontario, Canada, where we provide sound baths, sound training, day retreats, yoga nidra, kirtan, and so much more. As grounded, passionate, and dedicated students of ancient and modern sound practices, our team supports yogis, spiritual practitioners, meditators, musicians, artists, and those looking to amplify their intuition, inner power, and purpose with our one-of-a-kind, unplugged gatherings and sound bath artistry training. Our mission is to inspire a holistically infused lifestyle, utilizing natural, highly effective, and accessible sound wellness practices, and to contribute to the health, happiness, and spirit of our community. Become your most authentic, grounded, and loving self by embracing the practice of sound with us. And thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Hope you will enjoy it. Be sure to follow, rate, and share. Enjoy. Welcome to this episode of Echoes of Alchemy with Lotus Sound. My name is Jay.
And I'm Justine.
And today we are excited to share our top 5 tips for creating a powerful home sound bath experience. And first, we just want to speak a little bit about and share about our training that we just had last weekend. So we had our second 3-day sound immersion training, which was a group of 12 amazing sound bath artists who joined us for the weekend. And we set up a station for everybody. Everybody gets a gong. Everybody gets a singing bowl for the weekend.
A tongue drum.
That's right. All kinds of percussion instruments. And we go through all kinds of different tips and techniques that we've learned along our journey. And it was a really, really beautiful experience. And we're looking forward to our next 3-day sound immersion as well, which will be in August. But did anything stick out to you, Justine, at the last training?
Well, one of my favorite parts is it's always, different people coming for different reasons. Like some people may be showing up to make it a part of their home practice. Some people want to become sound bath facilitators, and then others want to integrate sound into their already existing service, like massage, for instance. And it brings a lot of different personality types, and I just love on that last day where everyone has their chance to share their sound bath. So everyone gets up on stage and performs or shares, I guess we would say, a 10-minute sound bath for everyone. And just hearing all the people's personalities come out in their sound bath art, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's so amazing because we get to spend the weekend with everybody, or everybody gets to spend the weekend together, and then everybody gets to experience everybody's real personality come through these sound baths at the end of to culminate the entire weekend. Yeah, that was also my favorite part too. And
you feel so much joy for everyone getting up and doing it, because some people come and they have experience, and then others, I think over half of the people had never offered a sound bath before, so it was their first time sharing in front of people.
Yeah.
And it just makes you feel so much pride for them. Yeah,
for sure. Everybody went, and there was a few people were pretty nervous, but everybody got up and just did an amazing job. So they accomplished this beautiful, goal at the end of the weekend, doing this sound bath. And so if that sounds interesting to you, which it might if you're listening to this podcast, you can head over to our website, lotussound.ca, and join us for one of our upcoming 3-day sound immersion trainings. We have the one in August as well as one in November. But today we wanted to share our top 5 tips for creating a powerful home sound bath experience. So we'll start with number 5 and work down to number 1. Do you think, Justine?
I guess it'll be perspective. I'm going to imagine we have different.
Yeah.
Our 1 to 5s may be a little different.
And this may be like a top 5, not in order. This is like we'll each give maybe 5 of our tips that through our experience with sound baths and personal practice as well, of course, which is really the biggest benefit anyone can receive from sound healing or sound bathing, is to make it a part of their daily practice. Of course, right? We're into it.
Yeah.
So, who goes first? You want to go first? Okay, I'll go first.
Okay,
all
you
right.
go.
Nice. So first thing then, this is something that I think well, I don't think I know, took me a long time to get the idea about, or to really kind of latch onto, is that if you want to do a sound practice at home, a sound meditation, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go and buy $1,000 gong or a set of singing bowls or any of these really dedicated instruments, because that's what we think of first when we think of, sound bath or sound healing, is, maybe tuning forks, whatever the instruments are. We can actually create a soundscape, using things that you find around the house, really, depending on your creativity. So like I like to tell in the training, one of my favorite instruments is this little bell that one of our friends left in our mailbox. It's this little teeny tiny, like 2-inch bell that I use in almost every sound bath.
It's delicate.
It's very delicate. It's gentle, but we've also found instruments at thrift stores, and you can find things in nature as well. Like there's a lot of things that you could start a little collection of intentional sound instruments with without having to spend any money, literally just using things in your environment. And I think that's a good thing to start with, imagining that you don't need to go out and do a big shopping trip or to do that. Like, so obviously it's great to have a gong, that type of thing, but you can start really simply. Yeah, so that would be my first. I don't know if that's number 1 or number 5 or number 3, but that's definitely high on the list for me. What about you?
I think one of my first things would be actually setting the time aside to say, this is when I'm practicing. This is sort of making it a ritual for yourself. I think having that regular, committed, and intentional time to enjoy sound and to enjoy meditation is a really important piece, and maybe that commitment is something that some of us struggle with. I have a little chalkboard in the bedroom because I have a couple gongs. I have a mini sound bath set up in the bedroom, and there's a chalkboard beside it. And I always say I'm going to get some chalk and write down what time my next sound bath is in case Jay wants to come and receive.
That's awesome. Yeah, the home sound baths are super special. Yeah, I love that. But that's good. Yeah, the time, of course. Without the time, there's no sound bath at all, or sound or meditation for that matter. So carving at the time, and it doesn't have to be a long time, right? It can be a little stretch.
It can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the morning.
Yeah.
In the evening, really, it's whenever you don't feel like there's a rush to fit it in, that it just aligns in with the day, and spending even just 5 minutes is really great for your nervous system. Yeah,
for sure. My next tip would probably be just around the intention behind the practice, and realizing that this is a special time you can really set aside for yourself, in that whatever happens is whatever happens. We really get to an experience to go with the flow in this really personal, experiential kind of way when we do our own home practice. Whether it's playing a singing bowl or just sitting and toning or listening to the trees, whatever it is. Really just having the intention to be open to the experience, and to really allow it to teach you, about yourself, because these are really powerful practices in learning about ourselves. So yeah, that would be my next tip. Just having an intention to be open and to allow what happens to happen. And then you go about your day.
Well, and there's something special to being at home in your safe space. Hopefully we're all in a space where we can be ourselves and in a full expression of ourselves. So that home practice is really special because it is only for us. Right, and having that opportunity to fully express whatever you're feeling in your body. It doesn't have to be peaceful. It doesn't have to be blissful. It can be a whole gamut of emotions coming out, but having that opportunity at home to be in the flow of the moment. Right.
And you don't have to rely on any external, anything, phenomenon of any kind.
But I was copping onto your number, so my next one would be...
Number 2 for you.
Number 2 for me is inviting in as many things to use your senses. So to activate your senses. So whether that's, you can burn some incense or smudge. So we want our smells to be going. We want, our eyes. So having a nice dim light. As many of our senses that we can connect in with our sound bath, it helps to sort of get us out of our analytical mind and more into our experiential mind. So, and the experiential mind is in the present moment. So using as many different tools and tricks to activate as many of your five senses, like having sitting on soft things, wearing comfortable clothing, dim lights. And you could even go, if you have, a favorite fruit or something, use your taste buds before you start to play or having it right after. But maybe even a couple like strawberries and having that sweet taste in your mouth already brings a sense of like peace. And for a lot of us, when we smell things or taste things, that also takes us back to maybe nostalgic moments or some memories. So in the same time as it brings us to memories, it also keeps us in the present.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, creating your environment, right, that inspires you as well, that you can kind of settle into and make it as intentional as you want to, is really beautiful about being at home, because you could set the space up and kind of leave it sometime, depending on your situation.
Yeah, it could be crystals, maybe pictures of favorite places, like maybe where you want to journey to in your sound bath.
Yeah, like manifestation, sound bath.
Yeah.
From home. Yeah. That's cool. Love that. So yeah, my next one would probably be not so much a tip, but just really a bonus of this as a practice, is that you can, ideally you shut your phone off. You can disconnect from this, ethereal, device kind of land that we spent so much of our time in. So you can dedicate it as a specific moment for you to be with yourself and to journey within. And I love that with all of your senses, sensory experience too, but disconnecting from that for just a little bit, even if it's 5 minutes or whatever it might be. That's a really, really, really valuable component to it is that, because we do feel a difference. Like we had this the other day, right? We forgot our phones at home, both of us, and we're driving in the car, and we've got a 2010 Dodge Journey, so there's no tracking in this thing, and it was like this suddenly like, oh, this is funny, nobody knows where we are, how are they going to market
it was like
to
freedom.
Us, and but immediately you feel like a bit of a lightness because you're disconnected in this way, right? It reminds us of I don't know, I guess what it was like when we were kids or something. But
we survived.
Oh yeah. And the world will go on, outside your personal sound bath at home for 5 minutes or half hour, whatever it might be, and you'll come back and things will be what they'll be. But it's a really great opportunity to just go within and be present, fully present, without having to be connected to devices.
Yeah, and as we always hear, right, that present moment, fear's not there, anxiety's not there, anxiousness, things from the future, things from the past, they're just not there. So in the present is just that moment of what we're doing, what we're experiencing. And if you're surrounded and soothed by sound, likely it's going to be a pretty beautiful moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So back to commitment. So we've had commitment of time, and then you just said of like no distractions.
Yeah, cut off the...
Yeah, so cutting off distractions. And then also it is really handy to have like a space that's dedicated to your meditation practice. So if you're always practicing in the same space, it could even be a closet, like wherever it is that you found space in your home or in your yard, to go to the same spot over and over again. It really builds this connection to the space, like your frequency sort of builds there, your energy builds there, and it very much becomes a sacred space no matter what it is. So if you don't have the view of nature or something, maybe bringing either elements of nature into the area or a picture of something outside as well. But yeah, just practicing over and over again in that same space, creating your sound bath in that same space. And very soon it'll feel like it is the only space for you.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And that's like, you think of, these ancient buildings or even some of the older churches in town or wherever you go, these places where people have had intentional ceremonies or where there's been music played a lot. Same thing, concert venues. Some of them have really, like you go to Massey Hall, it's got a vibe because it's been, so much has happened in there and it collects these, it's like here at the studio, the mantras are collecting in here. The more we do kirtan, the more vibration that we do with the sound baths and gongs, the space changes over time. Yeah. And that's why people were drawn to these ancient spots because there's been so much energy and so much intention put into them. So you can create that in your own home, which is really really special. And we don't necessarily, most of us don't spend enough time in that kind of headspace in our house. So that's makes it extra special to be at home when we have a sacred kind of spot for ourselves. So
definitely. And I do love sharing too. It's not necessarily for the sound bath, but like entering your home, you can always keep some smudge or something like sage outside in a waterproof container outside of your door. And if you're coming in and, you've been at work or, driving around or shopping and life and vibrations, you feel like they've gotten on you, you can always take that smudge out before you enter your home so that you can leave that energy on the outside.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's like, again, just it sets your whole house kind of up as a sacred space in a way, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Sweet. So what number are we on? How many is this?
I don't know, but I think it's your turn.
My turn. All right. Well, instruments are important to talk about. So, like I said in the beginning, you don't need to start with anything specific, whatever you're drawn to or whatever you're, have come across or whatever is in your field. Feel free to use it and be creative with that. But, for us, I think for me, like the first gong I got probably changed my personal practice at home. It became, slightly different than, practicing a melodic instrument like guitar or sitar. But the gong itself, specifically the Mars gong, for me was really, really important. And I spent, 30 minutes a day kind of with that gong for a long, long time. And but the one instrument was enough for my own personal practice at home. So again, you don't need to go crazy. You don't need a whole sound bath setup necessarily to do something like this. A gong or a singing bowl or whatever you're drawn to is enough. But the key is to put as much thought as you can into and as much intention into the instrument that you're choosing. If you can, connect with it in person, which is rare for things like gongs. But you can, there's a lot of places that sell these types of instruments that have good recordings and you can get an idea. But just having like a personal connection or feeling that you've already noticed with an instrument, whether it's just from seeing it and it inspiring you by its visual component, or whether you get to hear it and it really lights you up. Just having some kind of, intention that you put into choosing whatever instrument it is that you start with, I think is pretty important.
Yeah, and we'd recommend not getting stuck on what the notes are, right? Especially with the singing bowls. I'm not worrying about what chakra you feel is blocked or that you want to open. You can use whatever singing bowl, whatever gong, whatever note it is, and with your mind and with your intention, I can pick up any singing bowl and say, I really want to connect with my heart. Right. I feel a block here. I want to open this up, and I can start to play even this chime with the intention of feeling the sound in my heart. And I can very quickly feel that chime in the front of my heart. And if I want to send it out the back, I can send it out my back. And our minds are powerful and our intentions are powerful. And it's more important that it's something that you resonate with, that you love the sound of, that you want to hear more of, and allow yourself to be romanced by the sound of the instrument of your choice.
Nice. Yeah, that's beautiful. Really, really good. I think with the other thing to maybe like is this the last? We're on the last thing here, probably. Or it doesn't really
Probably.
matter.
I'm not
Maybe
really
we've gone to
sure.
6. But
I think we might be at 4.
I think the last one that like jumps out at me is just to give it time. If this is new to you, like this whole concept of doing a sound bath or sound healing at home for yourself or for your family, like, but start with yourself and really take the opportunity to kind of disconnect from the mindset that we're all in so much of the time, which is like thinking about this practice as a way to, maybe take shots for Instagram or to like create content of some kind. Like separate yourself from that for a bit to start and just really connect with it, like I said before, with the phone off, and just for your own personal experience, and check in with yourself each time and just see how you truly feel beyond any expectation or thought of other people seeing what you're doing or sharing it with other people out of the gate. Like just take a moment to really meditate with it on your own, because it's so valuable. And we can get into it happens to me all the time, head trips, right? So if we can kind of put that out of our field while we're doing this type of practice at home, it's going to be really beneficial for us in so many ways.
Yeah. Mine will be beginnings and endings.
Ooh, yes. It's
Like
a good one to end with.
Yeah,
Good.
I had already mentioned perhaps having some fruit to bring the taste of sweetness into your senses. And we talked about setting your space up. In the beginning, giving yourself a moment, taking a breath, knowing that if you have one singing bowl, one gong, you also always have your voice.
Right.
So taking a breath, maybe inviting a hum into your practice. Our nervous system loves the sound of our own voice. It's very healing for us. And so, taking that time to sink into a few breaths, allow yourself to feel the earth, the cushions, whatever you're sitting upon. Invite some humming. Do your sound thing. And at the end, definitely stop playing. Allow the instrument to sort of finish its resonance organically, and then sit in the juice of the silence for, go for at least a minute. I'd say it would depend on the length of your practice, but definitely invite yourself to sit in the silence and take that moment to listen to your body, listen to your heart,
and your space too.
Yeah, your space, all the sounds of the world around you, and sit in gratitude.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you're passionate about learning more about the sound bath artistry, we do have our 3-day training coming up in August as well as November. We also do sound baths every week. Be sure to follow, rate, and share this podcast with someone you know who would be interested. And we're just going to play you out with a little bit of a...
Just before we end, though, one more hot tip. Those days that you don't feel like doing the sound bath, do it. That is going to be your most, whether it brings more creativity, some answers you're looking for, that is going to be your best days of practice. So just, even if it's 5 minutes, just do it on those days.
That's probably number one tip right there, is those are the days that you will, you need it the most, and that's the beauty of practice. And so, thanks so much for listening, and be sure to follow, rate, and share. And we're going to play you out with a little sound bath here with our singing bowls. See you soon. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Echoes of Alchemy with Lotus Sound. Be sure to follow, rate, and share. And if you'd like to unlock your sonic cosmic archetype, head over to our website, lotussound.ca, and fill in our free Planetary Pulse quiz. If you're interested in our sound training sessions, we have 3-day sound immersions on the calendar. We've got a session in May that's sold out, and we've got a 3-day sound immersion, deep dive into sound bath artistry, open for registration now for August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And you can learn all about that as well on our website, lotussound.ca. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you soon.